Welcome to the channel. My name is Captain Tango, and today I'll have the opportunity to review a USB panel that MechDIY was kind enough to send me. So let's take a look at the Airbus mini overhead panel called the Rowsfire A106. As you can see, the panel comes in a nice packaging and well protected. An installation card with a QR code will help us to access the necessary software later in this video. Note that the A106 is part of a series of 4 different mini overhead panels available from Rowsfire. So depending on your needs and budget, you should be able to find a panel that works well for you. Let's find out which switches and buttons are available on this specific model and how they compare to a full-size A320 overhead. All 8 switches for controlling the external lights are available and are either 2 or 3 position switches like in the real aircraft. The addition of the small plastic caps is nice, although those have a tendency to easily twist around. The switches are smaller than their real-world counterparts, but I haven't found that to be too much of an issue. The 3 switches for controlling the signs are also present, although I have noticed that the switch for the seatbelt signs does not have a middle position, which is the auto position between on and off. However, the other 2 switches do have the middle position, as they all should. Moving to the top left of the panel, a single ADIRS rotary switch controls all 3 irises at once. The rest of the panel offers a variety of push buttons, replicating the Airbus core switches. The size of the buttons is the same as the real ones, and the selection is based on the buttons you will need to use when starting the aircraft from cold and dark. On the left side, you will find the landing flap 3 configuration button and the oxygen crew supply button. The center of the panel has the 3 buttons you will need to control the APU and APU bleed, all neatly organized in a single row, similarly to how they are on the actual overhead panel. On the right side, in order to keep a small footprint, several of the push buttons allow you to operate multiple buttons simultaneously. For example, a single button is used to control all 6 fuel pumps at once. Similarly, both batteries can be turned on or off with the press of a single button. The external power button is also available as part of the electrical sub-panel. A single button can operate both packs, and 2 buttons operate the NTI systems, one for the wings and one for both engines. Now that we have a good feel for all the hardware features, let's quickly go through the software installation and jump into the cockpit to see the mini panel in action. The A106 connects to your sim computer via a single USB cable, without the need for an external power supply for backlighting. A knob on the left side of the panel controls the intensity of the backlighting. Once connected, 2 separate pieces of software are required to get the A106 working. The first one is FSU IPC, the second one is MobiFlight. Conveniently, our test cockpit already had both installed, but if it's not the case for you, the QR code on the installation card will direct you to a Google Drive location where you will find a recent version of both software. The last piece of the puzzle is the configuration file for MobiFlight. Once again, the required file is available on a dedicated folder on Google Drive, or you can also download it directly from the Rowsfire website under the MobiFlight config file section. Whichever source you prefer to use, make sure to select the configuration file that matches the aircraft you plan to fly in the simulator. For this video, we use the Phoenix A320 add-on in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. After downloading the configuration file, make sure to load it in MobiFlight. From there, an easy way to verify that everything is working is by using the test feature, which will illuminate every indicator in sequence. And that's it. Now, just press the run button and you are good to go. If we take a look at the overhead panel, you can see how convenient it is to control the most commonly used switches and buttons directly from the mini panel. Let's turn on the fuel pumps and confirm their status on the lower ECAM. We can now start the APU and monitor the start on the lower ECAM. One of the key benefits offered by the Rowsfire A106 mini panel is the ability to control the exterior lights with individual switches. This is quite convenient, particularly during busy segments of a flight. Another benefit is the ability to take a quick glance at the position of the physical switches on the panel to confirm the state of the lights, for example when passing 10,000 feet. Now, where would you want to mount the A106 in your cockpit? The ideal solution is probably to have it as an overhead, to be true to the actual location of those switches and buttons in the real cockpit. To that end, the back of the panel provides the necessary holes to install a VESA mount. However, this option might not work for everyone, and it is worth noting that simply having the panel standing vertically on a flat surface proves to still be quite stable. Overall, the Rowsfire A106 offers a lot of features in a small form factor. The all-metal case is a sign of a quality build. The choice of the available switches and buttons makes a lot of sense, allowing you to make a complete flight without having to move the camera to look at the overhead in the virtual cockpit. It is exciting to see more companies offering a variety of products, giving flight simmers even more options for how to build and improve their cockpit.